What's up, bosses? Welcome to About Her Business, the podcast where we leave all the gossip at the door and get straight down to business. I'm your host, Jante, and today we have the owner of XL Books, Miss Manshali Hendricks. Now, Miss Hendricks is known for her creative eye, spending almost 2 decades helping to promote businesses to success. And she is here today to help us excel on what she means business. Ladies, grab your cups and your notepads and let's get down to it. The meeting is now in session. Welcome, Miss Hendricks.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Are you ready to get into it?
I am. Let's go.
So let's start off with your company, XL Books and XLU.com. They're both about growth, but in different ways. Can you walk us through how each platform supports entrepreneurs and professionals?
So, one business creates your company, the other one promotes it. Excel Books is all about being the hands on to help you create your digital footprint. But at XLU, you actually take all of those tools and you promote yourself live. So, you don't have to wait for someone to give you the mic. I give you the mic.
Oh, wow. So with XLU, when you say give me the mic, what does that mean?
Literally. So, I have a conference that takes place in Charleston, South Carolina, only for small business owners and starting entrepreneurs. From the minute you register, you're being promoted and literally given the mic. You're getting your information's in the playbill. You're getting in-person networking that night. You're getting funding for your business. We have funding labs the next day. And literally at the showcase, I'm going to give you the microphone and interview you live in front of all these entrepreneurs and put you on my site so that people know who you are, what it is that you offer. And that's it. I'm not the speaker. You're the speaker.
So for women who hesitate to promote themselves, for example, or their businesses, how would you help them overcome that barrier, say, to take the mic?
I would say start by thinking of yourself bigger than you see yourself. A lot of women look at ourselves through the lens of somebody else, but we look at only the negative. But if you try and look at yourself through the positive lens that maybe another company sees or maybe another business owner that you know, that will give you the confidence to actually speak up. And then sometimes just finding a why, reminding yourself that the reason you're speaking up is not for you, it's for someone else. Even being here today, I'm speaking up because I know there's someone else that says, I'm nervous, want to run a business, but I don't know what to say and do. I thought, great, I'll speak up to encourage you.
I love it. And that's a good key point. Learning to speak up for others as well as being able to put ourselves out there. Now, in your experience, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about building a sustainable business?
Oh, there's so many. I would say the first one is as soon as I launch this business, I'm going to make so much money. I can quit my job today. That is not the way to approach it. Everything takes time to build. Even your amazing company with your idea that you have, it takes time. You've got to promote it. People have to notice you. You've got to build enough traction to get consistent customers. You have to figure out what is your quit number. Don't just quit because you started a business today. Have a backup plan. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs missing that part. And then they wonder why their businesses fail because they put everything into the company and didn't have a plan B.
Advice as well, because a lot of people do think that they can just quit as soon as they start a business, but keeping in mind it takes time is a real key into being sustainable in any entrepreneur industry there is. I want to talk a little bit about storytelling for a moment. It seems very central to your work. How has sharing your own story shaped the brands you currently built?
I think the only way to tell that is to tell a little bit of the story. When I first started my company, I didn't start it because I knew what I was doing. I actually had never thought about having a business of my own. And over time, I said, you know what? I'm going to start this business to take care of my son. And I had a new kid. I thought, oh my gosh, this cute little bundle of baby. How can I be near you every day? And I said, okay, I'm gonna do a business. I don't know what I'm doing. And so through the journey of figuring out what I wanted to do and where I thrive best, that up and down roller coaster, I've been sharing that with every client that I've had over the years. And when they realized that I did it and I had no money, I had no sponsors, there were no grants, there was no, this is what you do, but yet I'm still standing after 19 years. They hear that and they're like, okay, help me build mine. So that's how my storytelling has helped people.
And another aspect of entrepreneurship is risk taking. I think that at some point, all entrepreneurs out there take some kind of risk. How do you advise women to evaluate their risk taking on their personal professional journeys?
I think, and I'm going to answer this a little analytically, because that's my wheelhouse. Before you take a risk, it's got to be calculated. You have to think about how long can you sustain this risk and what are you going to lose when you take this risk. And most people don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about, oh, it's going to succeed when I throw money at this. But you really want to think before you invest and say, okay, if I spend $100 on this marketing, can I pay the software fee next month to keep my company running? If I invest in this person's vendor application, am I going to be hurting next week if I don't make a sale? And it doesn't mean that you can't take risks, but think about it. You may say, oh, well, I can't afford to not have this money next week because my whole company will go down.
Mhm,
So then the answer is not don't take a risk at all. It's find a risk that meets where you are. Maybe you need a cheaper vendor fee. Maybe you need a different solution. Maybe you need to learn a skill so you don't have to spend that money. Once
mhm.
you've made the calculation, then you can jump.
I love those tips because a lot of people who are starting off do not have those funds to invest in, say, the top marketing agencies or brands there are out there. So the advice of learning a new skill, I really like that because some of these things we can teach ourselves to where we can save money in the long run for our businesses. I want to talk about personal branding for a second. What role does personal branding play in career growth today? And what's the biggest mistake you see people making?
Mm. Branding is my happy place. I talk about that all day long. So when it comes to personal branding, specifically on the career side, I see a lot of people being inconsistent and not thorough. So when it comes to careers, your future employer is looking at you just as heavily as a client is looking at your business. So when you have a resume that says X, but your LinkedIn says something different, but your Indeed application says something else, and your profile picture here looks different than what's on your Facebook, they notice those things. And
Mhm,
then they wonder, why am I not being called? Why is my resume not being looked at? Because they're looking at one profile and saying, I don't know who this person is, or they don't even know their own story from a branding perspective. Because branding is more than an image. Most
mhm,
people think it's just, oh, let me put a cute little picture up here and this is who I am. Branding is
mhm.
also the repetition of your story. And if it's inconsistent, they can smell it a mile away.
Let's talk about the role that networking plays in entrepreneurship. What strategies do you recommend for building meaningful connections?
I would recommend having at least two different strategies. One for the person that you sell to, and one for the person you're going to work with. Most people approach networking with a very one track mind of, hey, I'm going to talk to this person and try to sell them my service or sell my product. But that may not be their need for connecting with you.
Mhm,
It may be better to have them as a white label partner. And so when you approach, you have to first assess what is the best way to work with you. Just
mhm,
because you're not a client doesn't mean I don't need you. You may have the customers I've been waiting on. You may have the service that I can't provide. And that's a great add on service for my customer. But once you figure out who they are and how they can benefit you, then you decide how to network.
I love that. And again, a lot of businesses and organizations are moving to more digital platforms and they're consistently evolving. as the days go by. How do you stay ahead and ensure your businesses remain relevant in times like these?
I am very versatile. So I don't put myself in a box when it comes to networking.
Mhm.
If that means I have to do digital networking, I do that. I stay on places such as Alignable and I talk to hundreds of people. I also meet in person, but I don't put everything in person at the same place. I'm always looking for a new area and I don't stay restricted to my city. A lot of people have a business and they wonder, hey, why am I not getting anyone? Because your city knows you. It's oversaturated. And sometimes the customers you need are in a place you never thought to go. So I venture everywhere so people know who my company is.
Once again gave out some great advice. A lot of times we limit ourselves by just staying within our city or within our state when a lot of our services can be used in different aspects in different places. So it is great to always branch yourself out. Now, Ms. Hendricks, you've spent almost 2 decades in this game. What's one lesson you learned that no book or class could teach you?
Uh, and I have meditated on this particular question for a while because there's so many. I would say that trusting your gut is more powerful than you give it credit for. When I first started this company, I didn't think it was going to go very far. I really thought I was going to stop at just a little hobby, maybe a few dollars here and there, and then it turned into a full LLC. And I thought, okay, well, hopefully I did this right. Maybe I should go nonprofit. All the money seems to go there. And I started to venture on the path of nonprofit. And then I realized this isn't what I want. I know the money is there. I know the funding is there. I know the grants are easy, but I don't have peace on the inside about going this route. And so when I decided to stick to my gut, I'm going to do this as a for profit because I want to be able to adjust when I want to. I don't want a board telling me, no, you can't give this person that discount. I don't want a board telling me, okay, we don't want the brand this color. They didn't build this company. I did. So I trusted my gut, and that has allowed me to meet some of the most incredible people. And if I had trusted myself in the beginning, I probably would be much further along because I don't mean to ramble, but I didn't trust me. I did not trust me in business. I thought, who am I to do this? I've never done this. No one in my family has a business. So I didn't invest much.
Mhm,
I looked for everything free. I called it being frugal,
mhm.
and just saying, oh, I'm just going to figure it out. But knowing what I know now, I would have invested in myself day one, and I would have been much further.
I love that. And again, that lesson of learning to just trust yourself is usually where we learn to succeed in life, especially as entrepreneurs. I want you to share a story of a client who transformed their career or their business in a way that inspired you.
Can I tell two?
Yes. Yes.
I will start with the first one. I have an amazing client. His name is Larry. And we met back in, gosh, 2012, 14 years now. He was my first website client who took a chance on me. And it was at a point where I really didn't feel like anyone wanted to buy from me. I seemed to be ignored and I didn't know what I was doing. And I thought, I don't know, maybe I give up. But I met him at church and he said, I want to try to start a business, start a website. And the reason why he wanted to do this was because his mother was dying and she knew that he had been selling these seasoned pickles in his barber shop. So he would literally cut their hair and then sell them a jar of these flavorful pickles I'd never heard of before. And when she was dying, she said, don't just keep this as a hobby, do something with it. You have a gift. And he said, I want to try and honor my mom. Can you help me with that? And I said, I'll give you my best. Things that I don't know, I will let you know. And as I learn things, you will be the first person to benefit from things that I obtained because you took a chance on me. So we built the site. Wasn't the cutest thing because I was still learning. But this brought him into an area that I never could have imagined in a million years. He went from selling pickles in his barber shop to having locations across 3 different states, being featured on Good Morning America. There's actually an excerpt of it from years ago. And then he came back to me and said he wanted to audition for Shark Tank, and I did his proposal for that. Now, he didn't go through with Shark Tank, but when I saw that he was growing and he was getting more locations, he had vendors and he had branding and he had shipping and he's talking about inventory. And I thought, I can do this. And I may not feel that confident, but this shows me that it's not all just in my head. To this day, he's still my client. He reaches out to me when he has questions about anything. He's like, hey, what's going on with my domain? What am I supposed to be paying? I'm like, yep, I got you. That's on the business side. Now, on the career side, I had a really fun, inspirational story about resumes, and it came at a really painful time, actually. I was leaving the company I was with for whatever, for reasons we won't say. But one of the coworkers I worked with there, he had been laid off. And he knew while I was there that I had mentioned, hey, I have this business. If you ever need a resume, let me know. And most people didn't think of me as a resume writer because they just knew I did websites. Like I do so much more than that. But he took a chance one day and he said, well, I'm laid off. I need to find work. I'll take a chance. What's your price? It says right here on the site, click here. And so he ordered my resume. And at the time, he wasn't sure what to go for. He's like, I just need something. I'll go back and work at McDonald's if I have to. And I said, I think your skill set's a bit stronger than that. Let's get you higher. So I formatted his resume, everything from the cover letter to the reference page, and updated his LinkedIn profile for him. He got a call back from the very company that laid him off to apply for another role that was higher than his previous role, where he ended up being a manager in IT. He went from 60,000 a year to over 100K a year. And this was in a 30-day time frame of doing a resume. So after seeing that, I said, okay, I think I'm a little good at what I do.
Oh, wow. I was not expecting to hear stories like that. Like, when you think about working with clients, you expect them to be successful, but to have them go out and have invitations to be on national television shows or to be offered jobs at companies that they just previously left from is truly an inspiration. And Miss Hendricks, thank you for sharing that with us because it too inspired me, and I know it will inspire others. Now, how do you balance that creative side of business with the operational or strategic side of your business?
Ah, so for that, I think I have to show you something. Hopefully it'll show on the screen. This little notebook here
Mhm.
keeps me grounded. Um, as a creative person, it's natural for me to want to design everything. And I can spend hours and hours doing pictures and lines and everything I need just to make it look good. But as a solopreneur for most of my life, I have to give myself a checklist. I had to learn to manage myself the same way I would as if I were working for a corporate company. And by having that list and saying, okay, today I check email, then I do payroll, then I do follow ups, then I do this, then I do social media, then I can be creative. And by living by that checklist, I don't miss a beat. And I also give myself timelines, even when I'm designing, which is sometimes hard. In the beginning, it was really difficult. Now I've gotten used to it, but I don't give myself 5 days to design a logo because I know I'll get lost and I'll end up with 20 different designs. Like they don't need 20 designs. They need three to pick from. So I give myself a time frame. I'm like, okay, you've got 2 days. Whip up something that inspires you, send it to the client and let them give feedback. That helps me rein in the creativity without silencing it because I don't put all the decisions on me. I put some of it on the customer.
I love it. Many entrepreneurs struggle with self-doubt. How have you faced and overcome self-doubt in your career?
Mm, I think I have to start by being honest and say that I'm constantly, fighting self-doubt. It's not something that I got over a few years ago, and now I'm just walking in this every day, like I'm walking on sunshine and I'm always happy. No, I have days where I'm like, why am I doing this? Um, One way that I battle it is I use my circle. I use my circle of people that I trust to reach out. Not a very big circle, but I do connect with them. I also believe in therapy very strongly, not just for personal life, but for business. And I talk to my therapist about my business. I'm stressed. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I have enough sales. Do I have to go back to work? Have those realistic conversations. Um, Also, when I have doubt of the company continuing on, I remind myself of why I started this thing. And I ask myself, is that why still strong today? Because my why has changed over the past 2 decades. In the beginning, it was, oh, I just want to do this only for my son. Okay, well, now my son's 18. What happens when he moves out? What happens when he doesn't want the company? Does the why still stand? So I had to shift. And that helped me fight the doubt by refocusing my thoughts.
I love that. And again, you gave out some great advice there, especially with therapy. I can't tell you how therapy has helped me overcome a lot of things in my life and encouraged me to start my own personal business. So again, thank you, Miss Hendricks, for sharing with our audience on that one. Now, I want to know for the women listening right now today who may want to elevate their careers or start their own business ventures, what's one actionable step they can take right now to help them accomplish that?
I'm going to give you the best free advice that I could possibly think of. They should go to their city and look for the Small Business Development Center. And it's something that many entrepreneurs do not use. I had the privilege of being one of the counselors in my city for a period, but they provide free business counseling to help you nail down what your vision is, what you need to accomplish it, and connect you with resources so that you can actually make it happen. Most people just have an idea. They may say, oh, I want to do hair. That's great. What's the name of your hair company? They help you fix that. Or, okay, I don't know that I need to do taxes for this. How do I even begin? They do all of that free of charge. They have training. They have networking events. They have referrals and resources. They have funding. Everything you need at your fingertips. Start there. And I know that's not the answer people would think that I would say. They think, oh, start with me. No, no, start there so that you know what your dream is. And then once you've got that nailed down, you come to me and I make it happen.
She just gave out a real great piece of free advice to y'all. So if you haven't heard of in your area, please Google it and find out where it is located. Now, Miss Hendricks, we have reached our last question, and we always leave with a legacy. Looking back, what advice would you give your younger self when you were just starting out in business?
Mm. My younger me, I would say, give it everything. Don't hold back. Forget what everyone else is saying and just chase your dream. I would tell myself that with confidence and not just you can do it. No, you got this. Go get it. Like, I would tell myself that, and I think it would change everything.
Miss Hendricks, it has been an honor sitting down and talking with you today. Before we leave, we do want to make sure that we get all your information. How can we sign up for XL Books? How can we sign up for XLU? Let us know all the details.
So you can always connect with me on my website, which is XELBooks.com, where you can scan the QR code up above. You can also give me a call at 472-248-7055. And I hope to see you at my conference this year at XELYLU.com.
And let us know when that conference is going to take place and where we can buy tickets.
Yeah, so the conference will take place in July of 2026, the 10th through the 12th. It is all inclusive. If you haven't been to Charleston, South Carolina, oh my gosh, you'll love it. And I'm spoiling the stew out of you. So you've got your hotel room covered, your breakfast buffet is covered every day, your dinner buffet is covered every day. The only thing you have to cover is lunch on Saturday. I'm sure you can figure that out somewhere. You can get tickets by going on my website at xelyou.com.
Perfect. And we'll be leaving all that information down in the description box below. Any last words before we adjourn today's meeting, Miss Hendricks?
I would first say thank you for having me, and to all the entrepreneurs listening, go after your dreams.
And with that, today's meeting is now adjourned. Thanks again to Mashali Hendricks of XL Books LLC for coming on and offering all her insights. And be sure to subscribe to About Her Business wherever you receive your podcast so you never miss an upload. Also, links to comments down in that comment section on which industry you think we should interview next. Until next time, keep those goals tight, those circles tighter, and those bank accounts growing.